right, I want to get the read now from former Virginia Governor, Senator George Allen, on this debate over the tax reform, and maybe it doesn't pan out, at least at the pace, Samir. Now, I'm not trying to be a wet blanket. As you know, Governor, you and I have gotten into this before, but when I hear Mitch McConnell say he wants these tax cuts, whatever they are, to be revenue neutral, which is fine from an accounting perspective. I appreciate his concern for the deficit and the debt. I do find it remarkable that many Democrats are now suddenly very concerned about the deficit and the debt. Having said that, do you think that could take the oomph out of the tax cuts, that if everything had to be revenue neutral, well, by definition, that doesn't mean you're going to get big tax cuts? And would that worry you?
Yeah, it would, and because I think what we need to do is jumpstart our economy and get our country much more competitive. As far as corporate or business taxes, they should also apply to individuals, because a lot of manufacturers, and I've heard this from the National Association of Manufacturers, a lot of their members are pass-through organizations, and so that does have to be reformed insofar as individual tax cuts as well. The market and the people are expecting Donald Trump to keep his promises. He's putting together a great cabinet of people who are experienced in business, the free market system, understanding international competitiveness, and everyone knows we have the highest taxes on businesses in the world. So let's get us more competitive. And if you can bring back the trillions that are overseas that they don't want to get hit with the 35% taxes, that'll jumpstart the economy. More importantly, we'll turbocharge our economy with literally millions of jobs that mean more revenue. If people are working, they're paying taxes.
I hear you.
I'd hate to hear a Republican not understand dynamic economic policy.
Bingo. You just read my mind, and that's what I want to explore. How is this going to be scored? There's static accounting, dynamic accounting. I warned you, Governor, that I was dull. But I like things when it comes to tax cuts. I don't look at them as like spending on a program. That's a dynamic sort of investment. And you do get bang for the buck. You just don't get it right away.
But you'll get it in years down the road.
I hope they keep that in mind.
Well, they have to keep it in mind. In fact, anytime you change the tax code, it's not as if investment will happen the very next day.
But what if Mitch McConnell doesn't, Governor? What if he said, no, this is how we do it, and well, you're equating a tax cut with a program to build a bridge, you know what I mean?
I understand, and even building a bridge is a long-term investment as well. And so infrastructure improvements are indicated as well, especially for energy infrastructure. But and that helps the economy as well. And so a lot of policies, whether it's productive energy policy or tax policies that encourage more investment and more job creation, results in more income. It's proven every time tax cuts came in for capital gains, the result was not a loss of revenue. There was more revenue for the government. And I think Mitch knows history and will recognize that.
Governor,
we're not going to have
you and I
Republicans.
chatted about this, but I think these tax cuts have to be big if you want them to work. Otherwise, don't bother with them. Trimming around the edges is going to get you a trimming around the edges bang for the buck. It's not going to move the needle much. Ronald Reagan's tax cuts did. People forget that even though Bill Clinton raised taxes on the upper income, he cut dramatically a lot of investment-related taxes, and we had a market boom follow. My only point is it's got to be fairly dramatic. And do you see any effort on the Hill here where they'll do their best to rein that in?
You mean to try to put a cold blanket or a wet blanket on it?
To destroy
I think that anybody who wants a wet blanket, well, I think that's the wrong approach. The wrong approach is understand Donald Trump won. He had the support of the people. And his ideas were big changes. They weren't significant. They weren't just nibbling around at the edges. He wants to make America great again. You make America great again by having a more competitive tax policy. You make it by unleashing our productive and plentiful energy resources. It means reining in this regulatory red tape that adds cost to doing business in the U.S. And I think that if the Congress recognizes that's the will of the people and America wants to be great again, we want to be number one, not worst, they're going to say, let's unleash the entrepreneurial spirit of the country and let's have a government that's on the side of free enterprise rather than a burden and hindrance. And I think people will react to it and they'll say, darn right, that's what we want to see out of Washington, not a bunch of muddling around with a bunch of green eye shade accounting excuses that are not going to improve anything for someone's life.
All right, don't hold back, Governor.
Well, gosh darn it.
All right.
Well, yeah, we want to level, we want to, level playing field, but we want to be best, and that's what Americans expect. And I think Donald Trump and his cabinet are aimed to do that, just that.
All right, we'll watch closely. Governor, if we don't chat again, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Be well.
You have a great Christmas, too, and a healthy, happy New Year.
Thank you, my friend. All right.